Neverness to Everness is basically Tower of Fantasy 2, but nobody's going to tell you that because they never played it. I am not a Tower of Fantasy shill, at least not anymore. Tower of Fantasy was the best okay game I have ever played, but it's just like a job interview. Only first impressions actually matter. Anyone who's played Tower of Fantasy will more than likely say that this mouthful of a game title has very similar animations and designs. And don't even get me started on how so many people jaw-dropped over the fact that you can drive a car in this game. You can drive a car, like Tower of Fantasy. You can get an apartment, like Tower of Fantasy. You can even walk on walls, like Tower of Fantasy. This is like when a VTuber gets cancelled and then returns with a new model, like everything's okay. Regardless, I believe Neverness to Everness will do well because of three things. 1. They've already had the crash course of Tower of Fantasy. It seems like they're taking what was good about the game and doubling up on it. 2. It looks like they're removing the MMORPG tag from the game. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love co-op, but you do get this peer pressure when it comes to a gacha environment in a major way. Imagine trying to work together and co-op content, and you feel bad that you don't spend enough money to keep up with DPS. I mean, I guess it's okay, since the newest character will power creep everyone so you can catch up that way. But just like any MMORPG, there's always cheaters and hackers. Like hackers using a UAV in Final Fantasy XIV to cheese raid mechanics. Number 3, devs listen. And trust me, they have a lot of feedback to take into account. This is Hotta Studio's biggest opportunity to redeem themselves after its reputation with Tower of Fantasy. But look, Tower of Fantasy tried to make this gacha MMORPG thing work. Sure, they fumbled a bit, but you can't say it wasn't at least unique. I'm happy that Neverness to Everness will finally change the direction away from this and just focus on what they did well. But I really did make a lot of friends thanks to Tower. Friendships I so treasure. Friendships so precious. I go out of my way to shitpost in their chat, but friends you make along the way won't magically fix the mistakes that happen.
Guy 2 defends the power creeping tower of fantasy and has the audacity to laugh at people who call him out, dismissing them as clueless. It feels like a slap in the face every time he mocks those of us who care about the game's future. How can he be so blind to the state of the game? It's teetering on the edge of EOS, and his arrogance is only making things worse. This game we love is in serious trouble, and his smug attitude isn't helping anyone. Yo, isn't helping anyone, isn't helping anyone, isn't helping anyone. Guy 2 defends the power creeping tower of fantasy and has the audacity to laugh at people who call him out, dismissing them as clueless. It feels like a slap in the face every time he mocks those of us who care about the game's future. How mocks those of us who care about the game's future. How can he be so blind to the state of the game? It's teetering on the edge of EOS, and his arrogance is only making things worse. This game we love is in serious trouble, and his smug attitude isn't helping anyone. Anyone. Defends the power, creeping tower of fantasy, and has the audacity to laugh at people who call him out, dismissing them as clueless. It feels like a slap in the face every time he mocks those of us who care about the game's future.